What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bilbrons and Dragons. I'm your host, Bilbron DaoLockStone. So today we're having another battle report for my Molebron DaoLockStone build. I know that's 4 in a row, but at least it's been every day, and I promise tomorrow I've got a really cool deep dive coming up on Chainlock familiars. So I just wanted to go through these 4 episodes very quickly because that's what it takes to level in this game, and I really wanted to get to level 3 because it completely transforms my character, as we'll discuss. So today's adventure was run by DM Wow the Sketch. I thought he did a great job, really great descriptions, and a cool storyline that I knew kind of from the outset because they give you little capsule descriptions of what the adventures are about. I didn't feel like this was going to be too difficult, and I wanted a really good role-playing session to finish things off and kind of continue my character arc and take me into the next phase, which is level 3. And this was perfect because we got so much role-playing in. It was a really well-framed story that allowed us to do that. And the players that I was playing with were really into it. And I think that is so fantastic, especially for a Westmarch server. Because when I think of characters, when I hear a name like Baldur, I don't want to think, oh, okay, a Tabaxi barbarian / bard, and he's going to be giving bardic inspiration and raging and yada yada. No, I want to think, oh my god, it's that crazy Tabaxi that doesn't have any idea about what civilization means or what mothers are and can't speak in the first person singular and introduces himself to doors, right? Or Isidra, okay, so she's a sorceress, but she's not a stat block. She's this weird, borderline creepy sorceress that's like half vampire, half mind flayer, and happens to carry around culinary utensils and make a mean catfish. So it's nice to be able to think about people in that sense without, just reducing this to a bunch of numbers, right? That's the fun of Dungeons and Dragons. So the mission was called Soup Night at the Creek, and Baldur was putting the team together. And he is a very flamboyant Tabaxi, barbarian bard, 7'6" or something, and just like massive. I actually thought he was a druid in wild shape at first, and I was like, you're amongst friends, man, take your normal shape. So he recruited me first, and then I saw Radamel and Brunir from the last adventure, Radamel being the centaur paladin, who's really warm and courageous and pretty much the hero type that you always like to have on your team. And Brunir is the Warforged artificer, who is very robotic and got an interesting way of talking and very kind of soft-spoken and what have you. Let's see, there was, and then Isidra. Yes, so she was a sorceress, and she's got like a look that is really cool to Bilbron because he's Earth Genasi and he can appreciate a fine, healthy, gray colored skin, and her skin was gray, but she got like these weird bulging eyes and a little bit reminiscent of Mind Flayers, and like I said, she's like Mind Flayer vampire chick. A little creepy in her vibe, but super cool. And everybody's into role playing, and we got off on the right foot during the introductions, and then we followed Baldur to the mansion of Mr. Hopper, who was our client. And so we talked to him, and he said that he needed to get some soup from his mother, who lived deep in the swamp. Apparently, this soup has special properties, and he needed it to be brought in every now and then, and it was time. And so we were the ones that he wanted to go get for us. We were like, okay, sounds pretty straightforward. He's like, just pick up one of my employees to guide you there, and let me know when you're done. So I said, all right, fine, let's go, let's do this. And we went out and we surveyed the potential Hopper employees to help us out. We settled on Rosa Lee, an elderly, grizzled warrior in plate mail who was very excited to take us out there. And so we saddled up on a cart, and we all rode into the swamp. And it was several days' journey. And along the way, once we got to the swamp, it was like forest, hard to tell. But we encountered a couple of giant frogs, and that was a pretty easy battle. We dispatched them very easily and made our way to Mama Hopper's hut, or place. And she was like, well, okay. Would have been nice to get a little bit of notice, but if my son needs soup, let's put some soup together. But I need to get some ingredients. So she led us out into the forest to her little secret grove where she collects all the stuff that she needs. And It was like a grove in a clearing surrounded by trees. So I was patrolling the perimeter while the rest of them were trying to help her gather the ingredients. And at one point, some insects were disturbed and they attacked. And, we took them down. It was actually a harder battle than I thought. I didn't even cast Hex at the beginning, but then I saw these were pretty tough. So I put down a Hex on the second round. And we managed to clean them up after a decent battle. Isidra actually got taken down to 0 when a couple of swarms got really nice damage rolls on her. So but we survived and we got all the stuff that we needed for the soup. Then we went back to Mama Hopper's place, and then we actually played like a little cooking game because Mama Hopper needed help with the soup. So we all took up different culinary tasks like gathering and chopping and holding the pot and all of that stuff. And we all took a task and then we all started rolling, and we had to go through a series of 3 rolls. And this was the craziest thing because like when Isidra was introduced to us, she had some freaking culinary tools at her hip. And I was all making fun of her. Like, so you're gonna kill people with that ladle? I hear a spoon to the face really hurts. And it actually came into play. She got like advantage on her culinary rolls. So she actually carried the team because the rest of us were of, shall we say, limited culinary skills. And so we barely managed to fumble through it, but we got the job done and we made the soup. And during our taste test, it knocked our socks off and we got 5 temporary hit points. So that was cool. And then we were about to wrap up and take the soup back to Mr. Hopper and get paid. And we saw a hag coming up on us. So let me remind you, in the last adventure, Forest Foray, it turns out a Sea Hag was the BBEG behind everything, and in the final battle, she disemboweled Bilbron, taking him to 0 hit points. So I loved this because as soon as I saw the hag, and I explained, I just got disemboweled by a Sea Hag, do I detect a resemblance? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, Eldritch Blast! And I thought this is a great opportunity to roleplay my character panicking, and because getting taken to 0, it's a serious thing. I felt like I had nightmares that night, and it's like it weighs on your mind, right? And so I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to be panicked and discombobulated and not doing necessarily the right thing. And because like the Sea Hag had this like fear effect, I was like averting my gaze and just shooting at disadvantage. And it was a really cool time. And it took Baldur a minute to get with the program because he, like I said, likes to introduce himself to inanimate objects. And I'm literally screaming, killer, killer, killer! And he's like, Baldur is Baldur! So yeah, hilarious. But once he got with the program, it was pretty crazy. This Sea Hag was durable. She had like a high AC, and I attacked her like 8 times, and I only hit like twice. I did like 23 damage to her or something. But Baldur got the killing blow with a critical, so always good to do that in style. And of course, since this whole mission was about soup, and Baldur is, shall we say, not the most sophisticated, he had become obsessed with turning like all of our enemies into soup, because he goes into rage, and then I guess he really like enjoys chopping things. So he was making soup out of all of our weapons, and next thing you know, hag soup. Which, of course, Bilbron is perfectly happy because he's feeling like semi-traumatized here. Like he is, hags looming in his nightmares, and then it shows up. And it was, lucky that it was a hostile because, like I said, I didn't really think about it too much. I didn't initiate dialogue or attempt to parlay. I just immediately was like, hag, Eldritch Blast! Stay away! I burned like a sanctuary scroll, even knowing it was just going to burn like a DT and some gold. I was like, oh yeah, you're not getting me! So yeah, really cool opportunity, and everybody was like playing along. Like I said, really great role-playing synergy on this team. And there's actually one last thing. We finished off the hag, and I was tapped out, so Mama Hopper was like, you guys want to take a short rest or something before we head out? And I was like, yes, please. So I go to the room that she, let me stay in, and I'm chilling, trying to collect myself and get my short rest in and think about what just happened. And the one directive she had given us was like, don't look in the outhouse. So of course, Baldur, first thing he does, he's like pokes his nose into the outhouse, and out pops like giant snakes, and I hear a giant commotion, and I rush out there, and like they're all the snakes are killed like by the time I even get there, but Mama Hopper's not too happy about that. She's like, get out of here, you clowns. What the, you're killing my snakes, what? But, you know, I think she understood that Balder was not civilized. And they made up, and actually Balder, turns out, never had a mater, as he called it, a mother. And there was a very sweet adoption scene at the end where Balder has a mother now. And we saw it happen. Frog mother, Tabaxi child. It's weird, but hey, Dungeons and Dragons, right? So that was the final battle. We went back, talked to Mr. Hopper. We got paid, and we got a Pot of Awakening as a gift. And I, as a summoner who loves my pets, was like, oh my gosh, I really want this one. And as I was like explaining to everybody how great it would be to have this one, Isidra freaking just grabs it and runs off, and like I don't even notice. And I'm like, what? Wait, what happened? So, Isidra got the Pot of Awakening. We all got like 65 gold, successful mission, 2 badges, and I am now 3rd level. And I am so excited because this was exactly the perfect role-playing setup that I needed to transition into 3rd level. I mean, what are the odds that a hag is going to be the BBEG in 2 consecutive missions, right? So perfect. And now that I've gained a level, and now that Bilbron has had these experiences from which he is learning and growing and adapting and changing, the next time you see Bilbron, he is going to be completely different. He's had enough of this Eldritch Blasty thing, getting hit thing, this going to zero thing, this running into sea creatures who are always trying to be dastardly because sea creatures are dastardly. You'll never tell me otherwise. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Bilbrons and Dragons. I'm your host, Bilbron DaoLockStone. See you next time.